Call it to order. Hopefully everyone has an agenda. Those present and those that can see us, you have the agenda there. What is the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and properly second. Are there any questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion is approved. We're now down to C, budget hearing notice.
To adopt that it was posted the way it should.
Everything
and
was
it's attached.
posted?
Yes, sir.
Where it was properly?
Motion to attach to the minutes.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion that we attach the public budget hearing notice to the agenda, or to the meeting minutes, excuse
Second.
Moved and properly second. Are there any questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion is approved. We're now down to D, Publisher's Certificate of Publication.
That's just proof that it was published in the paper as it should be prescribed by law.
And we have proof here in our,
Yes, and the proof
Okay.
is, the proofs for both advertisements are attached.
me.
Three, I'm sorry, I missed the first, three.
okay. So we have the copies here where it's, it has been placed in the newspaper.
Yes, sir.
What is the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion that we attach the three public hearing publication, evidence of the three publications to the meeting minutes.
Second.
Moved and properly second. Are there any questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion is approved. We're now down to E, which is the financial.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight, I present to you the anticipated revenues for the proposed budget for fiscal year 26-27. And of course, there are our rules for the budget hearing if we do have guests. Of course, media is invited to attend, and if there are any questions or comments, those comments will be related strictly to the budget, and you are limited to 3 minutes for comments. Listed here are our board of directors, along with our superintendent, Dr. Holloway. And I will begin with our district initiatives, beginning with Project Year 2030. Some of these initiatives have come before the board before, being the first one is our strategic framework, and we have 3 priority areas which a group of committee members from the public, the school district, and from district personnel participated in this strategic framework to develop these 3 priority areas, which is to elevate a shared purpose and vision, to develop a culture of collaboration and support, and to strengthen community engagement and ownership. The next initiative is one that has been in the district for quite a while, and that is Leader in Me, which is one of the primary initiatives that has been established in the district. A new initiative that was introduced last year, of course, many of you know about that, and that is Portrait of a Graduate, which is to develop all of our students to have those 4 key competencies, and those competencies are adaptability, communication, critical thinking, and responsibility. And then the final project, which was a presentation was made on that last month, and that is the VWSD Culture Workplace Language, which was spearheaded by Ms. Kathy Sanford, to get all of us speaking in the same way. And I would like to present to you for the district our student demographics so that you may have an idea of the trend that we're seeing in our student enrollment. And these numbers that are presented to you tonight are presented from the Mississippi Department of Education's website, and it is a 5-year trend so that you can see beginning from 2022 to 2026, the enrollment as shown by the Mississippi Department of Education is on a decline. So within the 5-year period, we're at 500 plus students. And of course, from MDE, our graduation rates, 92.9%, and that's a 5-year trend. It is up from 2020 at 81%, so we see an 11% increase in graduation rates. So for 26-27, I would like to present to you the teacher and aide demographics that are employees that are funded by the district. So we're going to look at district-funded instructional staffing only. These are the number of teachers and teacher assistants that we currently have that are staffed in the building that are paid through Fund 1120, district maintenance. If you look at our regular education for district maintenance, we have 386 regular education teachers. Special education, there's a total of about 55. At risk, 5, and then for CTE, 4. District-sponsored teacher assistants are 103, which brings the total staff for district 5, and then for CTE, which brings the total district staffing numbers for teacher and teacher assistants to 569 employees. The next slide presented to you is federally funded instructional staff. And when I say instructional staff, these are individuals that are tied directly to a classroom. So I'm not speaking of counselors or anybody in the library. I'm speaking of teachers or lead teachers or interventionists as they may operate in the building. So for Title I, we're showing 21 teachers and approximately 8 aides. And for IDEA, we're showing 36 instructional aides. So for federally funded instructional staff, we have a total of about 65 that are connected to instructional programs. So for 26-27, the proposed budget for 26-27, and of course, these are our guidelines or what is dictated by the Mississippi Code structure as to how the district should operate in terms of budget. And so each year, as mandated by the law, we are to have a public hearing, which we are doing so now, and that is the code that relates to that law that says that we have to have a public hearing. But also the board must adopt and approve by each year, August 15th, a budget for its operating year. So when we look at MAEP and a comparison to the Mississippi Student Funding Formula, we're going to look, the funding formula changed or became a part of our conversation in the 25 fiscal year. So that's why you see the comparison from MAEP, which was once Mississippi Adequate Education Program, now known as Mississippi Student Funding Formula. And so you can see the trend from 2022 to 2026. We're currently projected to receive $34,698,025. And looking at our ad valorem tax millage collection, this is the amount that the district requests on behalf of operations from the Warren County Board of Supervisors. If we look at that trend, the request has been pretty much the same each year. $32,645,000 was the amount for 2025. Currently, the district has requested for fiscal year 2026, $34,844,000. And again, this is a projection for 2027. Looking at the total budgets and the expenditures for fiscal year 2026, inclusive of all funds, district maintenance is scheduled to begin the beginning of July 1st, 2026, beginning balance of $30,749,000. When we look at the total revenue, we're slated to receive approximately $104,600,000. In regards to the expenditures, we have on anticipated $109,878,000 in expenditures. And looking at the revenue versus expenditures for fiscal year 2027, it is projected that the district possibly could run a deficit of $5,278,000, leaving a fund balance of $25,470,000. The projected revenue across all sources, of course, local revenue, that includes our ad valorem collections, which is the major part of that local revenue, is $43,616,000 compared to the state revenue of $45,529,000, which is the amount we're slated to receive in minimum student funding formula. Federal programs, $13,899,000, and then 16th section and other sources of revenue, which brings us to the $104,600,000 anticipated revenue for 2027. When we look at projected expenditures, we look at them in terms of how they are being spent in terms of instructional support, non-instructional, 16th section, and debt service. Instructional programs, which are those programs that, again, that are tied to teachers and classroom student instruction, we're anticipating expenditures to be $52,171,000. That is 47% of the current expected expenditures for fiscal year 2027. And then support programs is our next biggest expenditure items at $39,518. So for those expenditures, we're looking for a total which ties us back to $109,878,000. As required by law, after you hear those anticipated revenues and expenditures, the board may, at its discretion after the public hearing, review and incorporate any ideas you may have for the budget. Then you will approve the ad valorem worksheet and the ad valorem resolution, which will be presented to the Warren County Board of Supervisors, and then they will in turn approve the resolution at their meeting in August of 2026. Do we have any questions and or comments?
Yeah.
And if the audience, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
may I let the audience go first?
Sure,
Please,
sure.
if you don't mind.
No, sure.
Would anyone in the audience like to ask a question? Seeing as none, Ms. Babbitt?
Going back to the student enrollment trends, the decline, what is the reason for what's the major reason for decline? Is it, do we have students that are just not returning, or do we have just the input is not there?
Can I answer that if you don't mind?
Sure.
The live birth rate has gone down over 200 kids within, and I forget the time span, but I can share that information with you. MSBA did a study on some school districts and they pulled ours, and we actually have some enrollment projections based off of that for the next 5 years. We'll share with you all once we go back through them. So the the live birth rate decreased over 250 students. So that's a trend that's happening across the state, across the nation, actually. If you look at our transfers out, transfers in, they're about the same.
Okay, that's what
I can share that with you as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Ms. Hughes?
You're okay.
My next question was down here on, the proposed, looking at the MAEP and the MSFF. From what I remember from our previous discussions in the meetings, that this upcoming year, 2026, it is going to be $34,698,000. But from what I understand from our previous meetings that we've had, the last board meeting, the projection for 2027 is not as rosy.
Well, that ad valorem is, the ad valorem that you, MSSF, that you see for the district is a net effect for district maintenance. Overall, the state has awarded 42 million. So the 34 million is a net of the effect of transfers that the district is obligated to make to special ed or district sped. So it's a net
But my
number.
question is what's the projection for the following year?
I think go ahead.
So we will hold harmless for 2 years. And so next year, the district will, when the state changed from MAEP to MSFF, the state initiated a hold harmless, meaning the districts would receive the same funding for a period of 2 years. Next year, the district will not be held harmless. And if student enrollment is how we're generating dollars, if student enrollment continues to decline, then you could reasonably project that the district would receive less funding.
Okay, so that's also what, in this budget that's being presented, is being considered, is also looking ahead to the years ahead and potential issues.
This budget for 26-27 is looking at where we are for 26, where we are here at 26, moving into 26-27. And it will give you a head start on 27-28.
Okay. The ad valorem tax millage, for, and I know our years are like 25, 26, and we're currently in 25, 26.
Correct.
And then when we presented 25, 26 request to the Board of Supervisors for ad valorem, was it 34 million?
Correct.
Okay, and so this 2026 that's on this, is this 26, 27 that we have on this graph? Or what's the projection, or do we have a projection yet for what we're asking for 26, 27?
So for 26-27, for purposes of this meeting, I use the same figure that was used in the request for 25-26.
Okay, so basically, our request would be the same as last year's. And that's what you're showing on this next slide, the projected summary. If we keep that, which is what you're assuming, if we keep that, then we could have a deficit as much as 5.3 million.
Correct.
And I'm assuming you've taken worst case of insurance increasing, continued gas prices, all of these things that are, so this is worst case.
This is worst case scenario.
Okay. But we still maintain a healthy fund balance with that 5.3 million deficit.
That is correct.
So basically what you're saying is deficit sounds ominous term, but basically what you're saying is we can dip into our
Fund balance?
our fund balance, I
Or
was trying to think of a
section.
better term.
Yeah, that's it.
for
That's
But
it.
basically, our fund balance that we have, that the school district and the board has worked hard at, long before I joined the board,
Correct.
at increasing and maintaining for this, eventuality that would occur. Okay. That's all the questions that I have. Thank you, Mr. Sturgis, for your patience.
Yes, ma'am, you're welcome, Ms. Patterson.
And there's no action on this tonight.
No action.
No, sir, no
Okay.
action.
Are there any other questions? This is just for information only. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Are there any questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye. All opposed? We are adjourned.
Be back at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, be back
Oh,
at
it's
6.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes.
Special call